Hello everyone, I am here back again in New York City with a phenomenal guest. We have Erin Provost. Welcome to the show. Funny story, Erin and I met about 8 years ago. So there was a running camp, Granite State running camp up in New Hampshire. Coley Carter.
Shout out.
Yeah, seriously. And senior year of my high school, Coley, who was one of my coaches, he runs it with his wife, Melanie. Mm-hmm. And we went up there and Erin was actually one of the camp counselors.
Yes, I was.
That was the first time I met Erin. And since then, I've been seeing her on Instagram doing a lot of big things within the real estate field.
Thank you.
So I was coming down to New York for 4th of July and said, hey, I should hit up Erin and see if she'd be willing to come on the podcast and share her insight. And I'm so thankful that she's here right now with us.
And I said, of course, I'm so happy to be here. I know, running camp background is it's such a small world. It was such like a formative experience. And then these are the things that come out of it afterwards. Yeah, so thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. You really never know where people are going to end up, because 8 years ago when we were up in the mountains of New Hampshire, now that the fact that we're in this amazing condominium recording a podcast is super special. So to start off, would you please give us an introduction of who you are, what you're currently up to within the real estate field, and anything you want to share?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Erin Provost. I work at Serhant. I moved to New York about 3.5 years ago, originally from Connecticut, which is how we met at running camp, and then went to school in Boston at Northeastern. Studied bioengineering, obviously very different than what I'm up to now. Worked in biotech for a while, and then moved to New York. And New York has a way of kind of captivating the inspiration in people of, what if things looked different? What if you pursued, whatever passion is inside? And so that's kind of a overview of how I ended up in real estate now.
Wow. And then to go back, so going to Northeastern, I saw, and you talked about it prior to this, is that you started off in bioengineering.
I sure did.
What gravitated you towards that initially?
Yeah, great question. So I always loved math and science growing up. Okay. Honestly, school in general. I was like a little nerd growing up. And math and science always just made sense to me. And obviously getting a degree in engineering, normally you have pretty strong job placement. And I also liked that it kind of combined the technical side of like math and sciences with, you have to be able to kind of communicate them externally. That's kind of the engineering side of it. Yeah. So I thought, okay, this is a marketable degree and something that I'd feel kind of naturally pulled towards. Wouldn't change it for the world. Northeastern is amazing. Yeah. Like the curriculum there and just the structure of the education itself is phenomenal. And it taught me a very like systematic way of thinking. So wouldn't trade it for the world. I think the thing that's very cool about Northeastern is you have the co-op program, and so you have internships that are built into your undergrad. So I think that kind of allows students to try out different positions in a way that they wouldn't normally be able to, and kind of figure out what path is most aligned.
Is that a 5-year program, or is it?
So you can do both. You can do, or you can do either, I should say. So you can do 2 co-ops and then you graduate in 4 years. You can do 3 co-ops and graduate in 5. So I graduated in 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then out of college, you went into that field.
I did.
What exactly were you doing? Were you doing the science behind it, or were you doing more of the business side?
I was doing full science. Wow. I was an in vitro scientist. I was doing neurodegenerative research. Atalanta Therapeutics is the name of the company. They are absolutely killing it now. And I was building out our internal drug development screening platform. So was in a lab day in, day out, kind of testing different cell lines and seeing. So basically the platform was a specific drug mechanism of targeting a few different pathogenic proteins that are indicated in neurodegenerative diseases. And so we had to figure out, okay, well, what are the cell lines that we can use to test these drug compounds against? That was my job. Yeah, and it was in COVID, and so it was like no one else was going in person to work. But I mean, in working in the biotech field, we were technically like essential workers. So I was going into the lab, running experimental development with a pretty small team at the time. So it was definitely very rewarding. But over time, I kind of started to put the pieces together of, even though the work was very interesting, I felt like I didn't have much of like a communication arm to it, and wanted to kind of get more towards that. So I did end up transitioning to the business side afterwards.
Got it. So then you went from the lab to the business side, and then
to real estate.
And where'd that come from? Do you have like family in real estate, or did you?
So it's a good question. I think I always kind of grew up around it. My family had an excavation company for a little bit. I learned to drive a backhoe when I was like 4 years old.
That's awesome.
Not actually, I wasn't behind the wheel, but I have pictures of like a hard hat, like baby Timberlands on. So I always kind of like grew up around it. My brother studied architecture in school, and I think always just had like an appreciation of going into like unique properties and seeing kind of how different people gravitate towards different styles. But really, I think when it started was when I started looking for my own apartments in Boston.
Southie.
Yeah, I know. So shout out Southie. When I was looking for apartments in Boston, I remember working with a few different real estate agents, and some were great, some maybe not as much, but that's okay. But I just kind of saw what they were doing on a day-to-day basis, and I was like, this is so fun. Like, this is work. Like, this is your job. And so that kind of like sparked it. And then I think the idea was always lingering in the background.
Wow. Yeah, small plug for Southie. Yeah. We were talking about it, but Southie's awesome. I also have been saying this. Southie is the best beach town in America. I don't know if Erin will agree, but
I don't know about that.
M Street Beach is it's amazing because you're just so close to everything. Where you can go to the beach, you can go to downtown Boston. There's bars right in downtown Southie. Yeah. It's a great spot for people coming out of school.
It really is. That's exactly when I lived there, as well as like for the 1 year post-grad. And for anyone that lives in Southie, you'll know that is the best year to live there. And you're so right. Like being right by the beach, it's so much fun.
Especially when it's 80 degrees out, 90 degrees out.
Yeah, and everyone just like flocks to the beach.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So then you're living in Southie, you're working on the business side. Did you start doing real estate in Boston, or did you make the transition to New York before you made the transition to real estate?
Made the transition to New York. So the way that all these things kind of lined up is I post-grad worked as the in vitro scientist for around 2 years. And then when I took the position on the business side, I was working as an internal analyst for startup, was also in Boston, but I at the same time was thinking about moving to New York. And when I took that position, I was like, I would really love to be in New York. And they were like, go for it. Do your thing. You can work remotely, kind of come up as the timing is right. But so I moved to New York at the same time, transitioned to that position on the business side. That was also very interesting. Working as an internal analyst, I think I was doing a lot of just kind of market analytics and helping with pitch decks for various companies we were potentially going to be partnering with. But again, I think I wasn't getting that like interpersonal gratification of like, I want to be out and like wheeling and dealing and doing all the things. And I was sitting in my apartment and like working on market analysis. And so there was still this like, this itch inside me that I was like, this is good, but it's not it yet.
Yeah.
And like I was saying at the start, I think New York has a way of just inspiring people in general. Like you were saying before we started talking, like the energy in this city is just unmatched. You can like walk into someone on the street and they could be a multimillionaire. They could be doing anything in the world. And I think having just like that proximity to that level of inspiration, I was like, I'll get my license in the background. Why not? I'll study. And then kind of simultaneously, I was about to take my licensing exam, and I was thinking I would do it part-time. But at the same time, my company was going through a really tough period. I think biotech post-COVID really hurt a lot of startups. And my company experienced that. And I kind of had I was at a crossroads, I'll say, of I could keep looking for other work in the biotech industry. Or I was like, I feel like this is the push I needed. Like I probably wouldn't have made the jump to do real estate full time unless I was given like a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll do it. I'm going to take my exam, try it out. Like, we'll see how it goes. I remember calling my mom and I was like, just trust me on this. Like, I can just feel it in my bones. Like, this is going to be the right thing. And she was like, what about health insurance? Because we're independent contractors.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of elements to consider when you're making the jump to do this full time. And I was like, you just got to trust me.
Wow. So it sounds there was uncertainty, but you were confident. Were you nervous? Like, what were you feeling when you did make this transition? And,
yeah.
Because it's unknown. And I bet there's a lot of people, you've also touched on, sometimes you just need an external thing to push you over the edge, because a lot of people are scared. It's like, I know I want to do this, but I'm not willing to do it yet until something actually pushes you.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. I remember the moment so clearly as well. When I got a call from my prior CEO that the company wasn't doing well. And I had a feeling, like I was on the business development side and reporting to my company about how various competitors are doing, and all of our competitors are doing restructuring, layoffs, and I was like, this isn't looking so good. And so I kind of had a feeling, and I remember getting that call. And as soon as we hung up, I just sat there and I was like, this is exactly what's meant to happen right now. And like, I know exactly what's going to happen after this. Like, wow. Yeah, it was such a weird, but like unforgettable moment of just clarity of like, yeah, wow, this is going to be challenging momentarily. But like, this is exactly where I'm meant to be, and I know what I'm supposed to do.
Have you had other moments like that, or since that moment that you've experienced where like, hey, I know now that, because I guess where I'm coming with this question is that when you have a moment like that, you're more likely to realize that a moment like that in the future, so you're willing to take this step quicker.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. I love that. Yeah, entirely. I think making the jump to Serhant, I think, is a perfect example. I was with another brokerage prior, love them, amazing team. Different business model, and making the jump to work at Serhant was also kind of a transition from security to a world that was a little more unknown and just incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
And again, I had this same kind of like unshakable faith, and I think when you talk to more people that work in real estate, having that faith is really, really critical. There's so much that's unknown in our day-to-day, and I think having a strong, I mean, obviously faith can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but having just kind of like the unshakable like interpersonal drive, I think is what keeps people going in the business. Have
you always had that, or did you just did it get cultivated over time?
That's a good question. I think I've always felt that. Yeah. I mean, I know I've always felt that, but I think it shows up in different ways through different eras of life. Mm-hmm. I think what drove me when I was probably like 12 years old isn't going to be the same thing as when I'm 16 or 24 or 28 right now, or when I, have a family one day. Like, perspectives change, but I think that kind of, that
it's like the core value, core being of who you are.
Yeah, I think you have to find a sense of like internal alignment. And that, I think I'm lucky to have good people around me that reflect that too.
I agree. You got to surround yourself with good people to, like they say, like a high tide rises all boats. But you touched on making the transition to Serhant.
Yeah.
There we go. Do you want to tell us what that is? So Serhant, from my understanding, it's a real estate brokerage firm right here in New York City.
Yep.
People at home may have seen Ryan Serhant on like Owning Manhattan. I think he's been on $1 Million Listing, maybe.
Yeah, $1 Million Listing from day one when that show was on Bravo. He was on it. Serhant is, as Ryan would say, the best brokerage in the history of the universe.
Oh, wow. There we go.
I know, he's a master marketer. Yeah, exactly. That's that interpersonal drive, right? He has that. Serhant is it's a top luxury brokerage in New York, but also expanding to many, many cities across the United States now. We're based in Miami, based in multiple states. But it's also an education platform. It's also a tech company. It's also a media agency. So I think Ryan has done an incredible job of building out just this like infrastructure of a company that's able to function at such a top level. And it's like every element of what we do on a day-to-day basis, he has created a level of like expertise within and then brought it in-house so that everything can be just like as efficient for us as possible. It's really impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said education. What do you mean by education?
So Ryan has a platform called Sell It.
Okay.
So one of his favorite or famous books is Sell It Like Serhant. Which I would recommend to anyone that works in, and it doesn't even have to be sales, like just his kind of values in that book are kind of that same thing, finding that interpersonal drive and how to then bring that out into day-to-day basis. But Sell It is Ryan's education platform. And so there are courses, there are webinars, there's a whole entire kind of arm of the company that's just around sales education.
Got it. And from what I saw, the company is relatively young. He started right after COVID or during COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's grown exponentially, it seems like.
Exactly. It just keeps expanding.
And how is he able to expand so quickly?
Oh, that's been one of the most impressive elements that I think I have seen or that I've been watching since COVID is like, how do you keep expanding at this pace and with the degree of success that he has? I know I was mentioning this to you before, but like truly Ryan as a leader is unparalleled. Like he is incredibly intelligent, incredibly present in every interaction that he has. And I think he, from what I've seen, is just he has such a strong pulse on what a company needs and who's going to be the best person to provide it. And I think he hires incredibly mindfully and expands incredibly mindfully. I think that's what's contributed, at least from what I've seen in the short time that I've been in the company. I think that's what contributes.
Wow, and you've been there a handful of months now, right?
Yeah, a little under a year. So I joined, we're in July now, which is crazy. I don't know how. But I joined in the fall.
It's super impressive.
Thank you.
Because that's another thing that I've seen is a lot of times people will stay at the same job for their entire career because they are afraid of change. And I've heard this quote, like, growth is a choice.
Yes.
And it's so true.
God, yeah.
You have to make the conscious, intentional decision to do stuff, but it can get uncomfortable at some time. So
it
seems.
Oh my gosh, there have been so many uncomfortable days, and there. Right at the start too, there was so much happening all at once, and there would be days where I would like be sitting at my computer and just like overwhelmed with emotion. I remember sitting there and just like crying. And
wow, really?
Yeah. Not in that like, this was not in a negative way, but just like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do, and it's like a feeling of overwhelm. But I was like, kind of back to that unshakable faith. It was this like really weird feeling where I was like, I know that this is a lot right now, but like it's merely temporary, and I know that this is where I'm meant to be.
Wow.
Yeah. There were tough moments, without a doubt.
You keep on bringing up faith, and you don't have to share, but where is this faith rooted in?
It's a good. You know what? I grew up like going to church with my family. I'm not like an incredibly religious person. in like the biblical sense. But I think I've always, felt this kind of like, there's more in this world. Like, we can't all just be bopping around this earth, like with nothing else going on. And, so I don't really, I would say more like spiritual than faithful, or than religious. But there's something there.
Yeah. Wow. No, it's impressive. So
thank you.
Yeah. No, that's impressive. And then you talked about you joined the team and they were filming season 2.
Yeah.
So if anyone hasn't seen it, it's on Netflix. Season 1's on Netflix right now.
Yes.
Where it's I wouldn't say how would you describe the TV show?
So it's a lot of the time it's under like the reality TV section when you're scrolling through Netflix. But it's technically a docuseries, because I mean, you really are documenting people on their day-to-day like work-life balance. It's all entirely real. Like, of course, there are, when you're filming in properties, for example, you have to make sure that the owner of the property is okay with their house being on Netflix. So it's not like cameras are just rolling in unexpectedly.
Yeah.
But in terms of what happens on the show, like all the drama, the day in, day out, like it's all real. It's, I mean, our lives are, we live in New York and we work in luxury real estate. Like, there's going to be drama regardless.
Wow. And then, because we talked about it, but for the audience and probably get more in depth, in terms of the process of the filming.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Because you're trying to balance, and another thing too is there's a lot to dive into here, is like social media. I feel like it's very unique with your firm in particular. Mm-hmm. What does that look like when you're trying to do your actual day-to-day job and then you have some person with a camera looking over your shoulder?
Filming will change last minute. Like there are so many moving parts already in our work, and then to add on a filming element, like it's a second full-time job. What I think is impressive with everyone that's cast on the show is their ability to strike that balance, and regardless of whether it's a transaction or it's filming, like everyone just shows up, and this is true at Serhant in general. Like everyone just shows up ready to deliver, and I think that's what allows them to kind of do these 2 full-time jobs at once. And like I was saying, it's not like staged or produced per se, so it does like integrate with the day-to-day organically.
In terms of the show itself, are people recognizing you all when you go out on the streets, or is it?
It's funny. I'm interested to see like after season 2 comes out what that impact is like, because I joined the team a few months after season 1 came out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see that like initial right after like effect of being in Manhattan when all these people are like pretty much new celebrities. But it happens like out of nowhere. I think the impact it's really cool to see how like intensely the show, or just kind of like the brand in general, can impact people. Yeah,
and something crazy with social media is that I've experienced this a little bit with my older brother, is that you really don't understand the impact until you actually have these one-off experiences. Like you post a video, you put a Netflix series out, it gets hundreds of thousands of views, and you don't fully understand how many people that actually is.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's such a great point.
You kind of like go around your day to day, and next thing you know, 100,000 people know who you are, and you don't know how you can touch people's lives. Like there was a similar story. We were at M Street Beach. Mm-hmm. Some guy came up to Davis.
Best beach in the world.
And he said, "Hey, I'm a fan. Davis is always great with the people that come up to him." And he's like, you got me out of a rut." So you never really know how you're going to impact people, and especially with social media. It's, at least for myself, it's really hard to fully understand like the reach that you have.
Yeah.
So it's powerful.
I love that. You're so right. Where it's like it feels detached when you're just seeing a number on your screen, and it's like not until you have those in-person interactions that you like feel that level. You're talking to the camera right now, but the camera's actually whoever's behind it, which is crazy.
And
what are you doing over there? Who's in there?
Before working at Sirhan, how involved were you on social media? Were you a social media type person?
I think I've always enjoyed it. It's not anything that I've like shied away from, but it's more so like it was just for personal use. Like it's how I just like documented my life for day to day. But I think especially being at Sirhan, it adds such a different perspective to the value of social media and like, as you're saying, the impact that a following can have. It's really, really wild to have that kind of like mental transition of like, yes, this is a way to put your life out there, but also it can be a very strategic like business positioning opportunity. So.
And how do you gauge the return on investment of social media specifically? Is it based off engagement? Is it based off like, hey, I saw you on social media and now I want to buy this apartment, or I want to buy this house or condo?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, I would gauge it based on just kind of like the day-to-day communications that I'm having and maintaining on social media. But in terms of like measurable return right now, I'm going to say let's come back in like a year.
Okay, there we go.
Because I think I think the whole social media realm is something I haven't gotten as much into in terms of like personal branding and leveraging social media as I could. So hopefully I have some more concrete, measurable answers for you next time.
There we go. Do they have social media coaches, or do they teach you how to use it at all?
I mean, part of Sell It would be social media too. Okay. So yeah.
We talked about social media, how it's an integral part in the business.
Yeah.
Could you take us through the sales process in terms of? I guess just take us from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what I did not anticipate or what I didn't see before joining the team is like the amount of work that goes in before you even get a listing to begin with. Because I think you can outline the general sales process as like, you have an apartment listed, you're doing showings, open houses, you have a buyer come, and then you go through negotiations, offer phase, accepted offer, and then you do contract signing, and then you go through multiple, phases of approvals from there and financing if needed, and then closing. But what I did not see before this was the amount of work that goes into getting a listing to begin with, before any of that happens, and like the pitch process, for example. If an owner is interviewing multiple teams and you need to position your team as having the best expertise to position that property at its highest value, and everyone's using social media, everyone has buyer databases, like to differentiate yourself in such a niche market, I think is really challenging. But it's also very exciting and motivating. But I did not realize the amount of work and the amount of expertise and like real deep market data that goes into positioning yourself as that team that is going to sell someone's property at the highest value. And also when you're working in the luxury sector, when properties are, $3, $4, $12, $20 million, like the owners that you're interfacing with on the other side, they know their stuff. We are the experts, but of course we're still always learning. But you can't walk into a pitch to an owner of a multi-million-dollar property and not have like deep market knowledge and comps and know all your price per square foot off the drop of a hat. Like, wow. It's intense. Yeah. So I think coming into this industry and into this company, I think it can all seem so like glitz and glam, especially when you have like Netflix on it too. But the level of expertise that goes into making it all seem so glitz and glamorous is like very, impressive and not something I had a appreciation or like knowledge of before joining.
So then a lot of times when you do have a transaction or you have a potential buyer, are you working directly with the buyer, or does the buyer typically have a broker as well? And then
in New York, I would say we frequently see buyers having brokers.
Okay.
A lot of buyer broker representation. Yeah.
So then you probably know a lot of people in the same sphere because everyone's talking to whoever.
It's a really small industry when you're operating at this this caliber. And we are going to keep seeing the same brokers and working with the same brokers for years to come after transactions close. And so keeping, like a tight, like work ethic and strategy, I think is so critical. Like our co-brokers are our clients so much more frequently than the buyers are going to be.
Wow. And then in terms, are there any memorable deals that you've worked on so far?
What's funny is my most like impactful transaction since I've worked in real estate to begin with is like one of the like lowest, I would guess, payouts you could say.
Okay.
It was a small like studio rental, but it was most memorable in terms of the interaction that I had with that client was really special. She was moving to New York from out of state for the first time, moving alone for grad school. And there were just so many transitions that she was going through. And I think what's really special about the work that we do is like we see people through every phase of life. Like we see people starting new positions fresh out of undergrad. We see people expanding their family and having babies. We see people going through divorce. We see people experiencing deaths in the family. Like we get every part of someone's like life trajectory. So the most memorable deals that I've had have been more so because of those dynamics rather than like a transaction itself.
Yeah, you're really connecting with the individuals.
Yeah, it's so special. It's such a special experience. And also like not for nothing, but those initial rental transactions that you do, like over years, those turn into the multi-million-dollar purchases, and you get to see someone through every era of life, which is like really, really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense, because I did a little bit of, I leased apartments back in Burlington, Massachusetts, like on a way smaller scale than what you're doing. And I agree, because that was really rewarding of getting to know these people and also being able to provide them or help them with where they're gonna live.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a place to live.
Right? You're giving someone a roof over their head. Like what's more like special than that? It's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did leasing.
I did, yeah, a little bit for a multifamily. We had like 300 units in Burlington.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's no joke.
No, it wasn't. It gave me a great foundation, because people would come in. I would have to then, because the company I work for talked a lot about vertical questions. Like some people will come in and they don't really want to tell you what they want, or they might not really know what they want until you ask certain questions that help pry it out of them. I always had a difficult time doing that.
Okay.
But that's kind of what they taught us, and I felt a lot of times too where people would come in already knowing that they wanted to rent the apartment, and I wasn't really selling them anything. It wasn't like you see on the movies or anything like that.
Yeah. When you say vertical questioning, what does that mean? I'm not familiar with that.
It means like, see, I gotta jog my memory, but it's you ask questions in terms of like what people actually want. Like, you want high ceilings, but why do you want high ceilings? Oh, I want high ceilings because my kid's 7 foot tall. So it's like why you finding out the real meaning of why somebody actually wants something, and in terms of what their non-negotiables are and what they can work with.
Got
and try to help get that out of them. But I was really bad at it. Granted, I can't even tell you what it was about. I can't give you concrete examples.
See, I don't think that's true though, because you're running an incredible podcast right now and doing a lot of vertical questioning in this interview. So I think you're vertical questioning.
Being too kind.
It's true. It's true.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I would be curious your typical day, Because
there isn't one.
There isn't one.
There is not one. There is not one.
But are you working Monday through Friday? Are you working the weekends? Given that, I'm assuming the weekends, yeah.
Yeah, we're working 24/7. It's a lifestyle, honestly. Like it is it's a choice. Like you're saying, growth is a choice. Like I think, of course, we're mindful in having balance. And,
how many teams make up Serhan? Are there like 20?
Oh my gosh, no, there's more. It keeps expanding. So I'm not sure that the number off the top of our head, because we also have, so within New York, there's New York City teams, there's Brooklyn teams, there's Hamptons teams, and then there's Florida, and then there's Arizona, and so there are like no shortage. But in terms of New York teams right now, I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that.
Do you all compete against each other too, or do you
sometimes
each stay in your own lane?
There's healthy competition. I mean, like we were saying, that the industry is small, but also like we were saying, that co-brokers are clients, and those co-brokers are also other agents at Serhan, and so it's
That's
like
crazy.
I know it's great, but also it means that like you there's such a world of like collaborative competition, if that makes sense, like iron sharpens iron kind of thing.
I love that.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's just as much as like it's like when you're running a race and your teammate might be the person that you're neck and neck with, and when they beat you out, it's like, damn, like I wish I could have run faster, but hell yeah, I'm so happy that you're who won. Like I would say that's the dynamic.
That's a great mindset to have, because I feel a lot of people have like a jealous mindset where if somebody's doing better than them, they want to tear them down.
No.
But I agree with you. I think that is the mindset to have in terms of it's healthy competition.
Yeah.
And it's to bring everyone up. It's like, hey, this person's doing that. I got to level up and stay with them. So
yeah, exactly. And it can be, there are so many elements to what we do on a day-to-day basis where like maybe we go to another event and it's like, wow, that was such a well thought out and executed event. Like who did they use for vendors, or how did they do their marketing that made that so successful? And I think that mindset is really what I see at Serhan that I love so much, is that like, oh, you're doing that, that's awesome, that inspires me. And I also want to work that hard and reach that level of expertise. Not like, I can't believe you do that and I want to tear you down. Yeah. It's like, I see that, I want to match that. And then you get that same response on the other side. It's a cool dynamic.
Yeah, something I like to read books, and I read a book about Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart.
Yeah.
And one of his big things was going to the competitors, and seeing what they're doing well, so that you can take those ideas back to you.
Yeah.
And his thing is, a company or a competitor could be horrible, but they're probably doing one thing good.
Yes.
And trying to find that one thing just to help keep growing.
Yeah, entirely. So. Entirely. You have to keep that mindset. I love that. Yeah.
This might be kind of a weird question, but since I don't live in New York, how do you typically get around? Are you taking the subway? Are you taking taxis? Or
gosh, all of the above. Honestly, subway is faster. Subway is fastest. Or walking. Sometimes we'll drive. I'm in heels.
Yeah.
My Uber bills are
not good.
Not good. Good.
What would you say is the most challenging aspect of your job?
I would say the unpredictability, both in the day-to-day basis, but also just like general market movements. Mm-hmm. I think New York tends to be a little bit insulated from overarching like market dynamics. But I mean, just within the past like few months, there have been so many things that have come out of the woodwork that I think no one anticipated, that have really thrown a wrench in the market. And I think what I love that Ryan espouses on us is like markets are going to come and go, but it's how you respond to them that make good brokers versus great brokers. But it still is the most challenging part of the job. Like the unpredictability on a day-to-day basis of, you can have appointments cancel out of nowhere, you can have transactions fall through. It feels like sometimes we're just putting out like fires everywhere. And then on top of that, it's like maybe there's this another unpredictable thing that happens in the world that's going to throw a wrench in things. And finding the calm within that chaos is the challenging part of it. But it's also like sometimes we just have to laugh. Like sometimes so many things are going crazy in a day that we'll just look at each other and be like, it's just another day and we're going to get through it and the world's going to keep on spinning.
That's so true. And where is the luxury market right now? Is it?
I mean, luxury market is dominating and is driving most of New York sales. There's a lot of transactions. Actually, this is interesting. I was listening the other day to Macro Mondays, is a podcast and YouTube channel that Urban Digs puts out. Okay. Highly recommend. It's fantastic. It's New York specific primarily, but they do kind of branch out to the larger market. But it's like 30 minutes every Monday. They're awesome. But for the last bit of time, it was majorly like all cash deals, which really was kind of indicating like those that have the financial liquidity to transact are doing so. But just this past week's episode, they were saying that they're seeing a transition to a lot more financing again, which is interesting. I think it's compelling to do like a deep dive on who is transacting and using what mechanisms. And I think like institutions like Afterpay, for example, are obviously so popular right now, and it's like people are kind of becoming like really financially savvy in terms of how you can structure like your own interpersonal finances. And so I'm interested to see over the next like few years kind of how all cash transactions I guess compare to those that are financing and how people are financing, and like, are they doing 30? Are they doing 10 year? Like it'll be interesting. I think we have like a new wave of buyers, kind of like a new generation. And I think the new generations are dealing with their money in a really different way. So
it's in crypto. No, I'm kidding.
You're right. You're right. I mean, for some people, yeah. And so I think there are a lot of dynamics at play in terms of how people are purchasing. But in terms of the luxury sector, it really is what's driving Manhattan right now.
So people would come and buy a $10 million house with straight cash?
Sometimes.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. And would these be individuals, or would companies buy some of these condos or homes for, let's say, people that they work with? Would people have $10 million just liquid in cash?
Yeah, it happens.
That's wild.
It happens. Because people will hold their equity in a lot of different ways, and you can liquidate one asset to then purchase another. So
yeah, it's interesting. Like, I wonder what the benefits of just paying straight up cash versus financing is.
Yeah, I think it depends on interest market, especially, and I think that's what we're seeing now. But yeah, it's definitely a really unique experience as well to be able to like be on this side of people that have amassed like such phenomenal wealth for themselves, and to see how people with that amount of wealth like navigate their finances is really interesting. Yeah. Have
you worked with any like really high profile people that? Wow, that must be pretty cool though too.
Yeah,
like you see these people on TV or this, and then you actually get to meet them in person. They say don't meet your heroes. Do you believe in that?
No.
There we go.
Everyone's human. I think where people go wrong in saying like don't meet their heroes is because like people put their heroes on such a pedestal without seeing them as like a whole human, and like everyone's human. And so I think if you meet your heroes in a way that it's like, this is another human that I can't wait to interact with, then you're gonna have a great time. But if you expect someone to be like larger than life, then yeah, there's gonna be disappointment.
Yeah, that's good insight. Another huge topic in real estate and just the world in general is AI.
Yeah.
How are you all using AI, and how do you think it's going to shape your industry?
Yeah, I mean, we use it every single day. I know I mentioned at the start that Serhant is also has like a tech arm to it. So Ryan made Simple, which is basically like an AI based agent kind of that we can use on a day-to-day basis with help to help with our desk work, like whether it's running comps or putting together deal sheets, like having that kind of busy work just built out and automated is pivotal. So there's that side of it in terms of optimizing just our day-to-day tasks. And so you have like the task-oriented optimization, you have the optimization of our outreach, and then from there it's just like, I mean, we've seen AI do virtual staging. Like I think the opportunities are endless. I think Sirhan in general, obviously, again, like there's a whole tech side of it. So I think you don't join the brokerage unless you believe in the impact that, the positive impact that tech is going to have on our industry. And yeah, I think we're just getting started.
I agree. I think the virtual agent stuff is, because the job I worked at prior to my current job is pretty much going all virtual.
Really?
So they'll have a virtual assistant that feeds all the leads.
Yep.
We'll email them, and then they won't have anyone on site, and they'll send emails, be like, hey, get the key out of the lockbox, you're going to this apartment. And what they realize is that it's probably different in luxury, because people probably want that human approach, is that they don't necessarily want somebody there with them when they're walking through an apartment. Because they want to have this feeling of, oh, I don't like this, I want to be open about it, rather than if you're with somebody, you might reserve some things to yourself.
Yeah.
And I guess they've seen that it doesn't matter if somebody's touring them around. So I wonder if that will ever get to the luxury side of things, or since the deals are so big, you still have to have that human aspect.
That's interesting. I do think that at this caliber, having like I think there's an understanding of the properties here that does really require a human element. But it's really interesting to your point of people sometimes holding back like negative critiques maybe of a property. I see that happen so frequently, where if we're showing a list of options and we'll have like either on tenant or buyer side, and you can kind of sense when someone's like holding back, and I've always said, I'm like, hey, I didn't build this. Like, I need your full, transparent feedback, so then we can find like what does work. But you're so right that like having someone there does kind of impede someone's like full emotional reactions. It's interesting.
Yeah, because they want to be polite and they don't want to offend you. They don't want to come off
it's okay. I'm like, give me all the responses. It's okay. I did not build this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot of great things, to be honest, and
I love it. Yeah, no, this is so much fun.
I guess before we go on, because we'll get into some fun questions, do you want to tell us I don't know if you want to plug where we're at?
Yeah, definitely. We are at Williamsburg Green is the name of the building. It's 28 Herbert Street in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, by Pinner Development, but it's an entirely new construction. It's a passive house, which is this next tier of development, just efficiency. We're also first carbon net neutral property in New York City. So your utility costs are going to be like 85% less than a standard building of this caliber. We have all Italian imported finishes from Lago and Jesse.
All this good stuff back here. You can see it in the camera.
All this good stuff. They're perfect for hosting, but it's a really beautiful building.
Last question I have for you is, we touched on it at the very beginning. I met her at running camp that many years ago.
Yeah.
Are you still running, or?
For fun. For fun. It's always like, it'll always be a way of release for me. But I have found so much fun in the city and going to classes. Like, I have my favorite Soul Cycle instructor, shout out Roxy, 6 a.m.s at NoHo. Incredible. Roxy's my girl. Barry's Kenny is my favorite instructor.
Okay.
Shout out Kenny Selman. But I'll do like a mix. Do like Pilates and spin and Barry's and yoga. But it's fun. Like, you connect with really cool people in the classes here. So I'll never not enjoy going out for a run, but yeah, I think my competitive running days are behind me for the moment.
No, that's good. It's great that you're still staying active though, because I feel like that's such an important thing, is just moving your body. And if people at home, if that's something to take away too, is just staying active and using your body is super important.
It is imperative. Like if I am not active for a few days, like I can viscerally feel my like emotions change.
Yeah.
And like I think like, and everyone's, you know, kind of like physiology is different, but for me, like working out in the morning, it like turns my brain on.
Yeah, you're a morning person?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, 6 a.m. It's the best time of the day. Like honestly, it's so great. And if I miss a morning workout, I like feel so off. I
agree. And were you always a morning person, or did you have to train yourself to become a morning person? Because I had to train myself.
I think I trained myself, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a solid couple of months of when you're waking up and you hate yourself. And you have the most, at least for myself, I would wake up and have the worst negative thoughts. But then over time, your body just gets used to it. I don't know if you just become, like your mind becomes calloused. Shout out David Goggins, but you just get used to it.
Yeah, you really do. It just becomes like a second nature. It's like a muscle memory kind of a thing. But yeah, it's freaking brutal trying to get to that point. Like and this will still happen. I have been on like this routine for like year change now. But there are still days where I like wake up in the morning and alarm goes off at 5 and I just lay there and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this, huh? We really are. But also I think, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like those hours of the day are like the few hours that we have like complete control over. And so I feel like if I miss it and then try and go about like the rest of the day, I just feel like I'm pulled in so many different directions, and it's like the one time of our day we get like full ownership.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I agree with that, and I also think, one, it sets a good standard and puts you in the right mindset.
Yeah.
2, I feel like I'm still half asleep, so the workout goes by a lot quicker.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not like conscious of what's happening until we're already in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing to be mindful of, and I'm trying to be mindful of it, is I don't want to get too dependent on my routine, where if I need sleep or something happens and I can't get my morning workout in, my whole day used to get thrown off.
Right.
But now I tell myself, like, it's one workout, man.
Yeah.
You can't let it throw the rest of your day off.
Yeah, exactly. And like rest is so imperative too. Just like balance. Yeah. You have to balance it all. Also, like living in a city like New York, there's so much going on. Like I'm not up at 5 a.m. every day, but for the days that we can.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Erin, for coming on.
Of course. This has been amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching, whoever's in there.
Yeah. But, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.